Why some Brits don't feel British anymore. The United Kingdom is a country steeped in tradition, home to afternoon teas, double-decker buses, royal ceremonies, and Shakespeare. Yet, in today's fast-paced world, the idea of British identity is starting to feel more complex than ever. For some, national pride remains a strong part of their life. For others, it feels distant or even outdated. So why are some people feeling less connected to the concept of Britishness? It's not about rejecting the country, it's about understanding how identity in modern Britain is evolving. In this video, we explore the many reasons why some Brits don't feel British anymore. Shifting national identity in Britain. National identity has never been a fixed idea. It shifts over time, and recent decades have seen major changes. From cultural shifts and global events to technological changes, the idea of what it means to be British today is increasingly open to interpretation. For many, Britishness still includes pride in shared values, institutions like the NHS, and a sense of fairness. But for others, the identity feels harder to define or connect with. The world is moving fast, and the symbols of traditional British identity don't always reflect life in 21st century Britain. These shifts can also be seen in how people engage with history. Younger generations might question parts of Britain's past that were once sources of national pride. This includes the colonial legacy, which is now discussed with more nuance, raising debates around statues, curriculum, and representation. All of this contributes to a more complicated, but also more honest conversation about national identity. The rise of regional pride in the UK. Regional and local identities have always existed in the UK, but they've grown stronger in recent years. Across Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, as well as English regions like Yorkshire or Cornwall, many people feel more closely tied to their local community than to the idea of Britishness. Whether it's through dialect, local traditions, or regional history, people are reconnecting with where they come from in new ways. For some, that regional pride becomes more central to their identity than a broader national label. This shift doesn't represent disunity. Instead, it shows how cultural identity in the UK is becoming more diverse and grounded in lived experience. Devolution has played a role in this as well, with Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland having their own parliaments or assemblies. Residents often feel their local governments understand them better than Westminster. As a result, local governance can feel more relatable and trustworthy, reinforcing a sense of regional over national identity. Generational views on Britishness. Different generations often view national identity through very different lenses. Many older Britons associate British identity with historical milestones, like the end of World War II, the creation of the NHS, or long-standing national traditions. But younger generations are shaped by a more globalised and digital world. They grow up surrounded by international music, media, and values. To them, identity might be based more on shared ideas, personal values, and community ties than national symbols. Moreover, younger generations are more likely to embrace fluid identities. Someone might identify as British, European, and a member of an online community all at once. This multi-layered approach makes identity more personal, and sometimes less tied to geography or history. This doesn't mean younger people aren't proud of being British. It means they interpret that pride differently. In modern Britain, generational differences are helping redefine what national identity looks like in everyday life. Diversity and inclusion in British identity. Britain is one of the most diverse nations in Europe. This diversity is something many people celebrate, but it also adds complexity to the conversation about British identity. For individuals from different cultural or ethnic backgrounds, traditional portrayals of Britishness might not always reflect their own experience. Many people blend their cultural heritage with a strong sense of belonging to the UK, creating unique hybrid identities, such as British Indian, Afro-Caribbean British, or British Chinese. Rather than seeing this as a dilution of identity, it's better understood as an expansion. Cultural identity in the UK is richer because it's inclusive and multi-layered, not because it conforms to one definition. Media representation plays a role in this too. When people don't see their backgrounds or experiences reflected in national narratives, they may feel distanced. Greater inclusion in public life, media, and leadership helps make British identity something that feels more representative of everyone. Economic and social realities. Economic conditions can have a powerful effect on how people connect with national identity. In communities that have experienced job losses, underinvestment, or rising living costs, people might feel excluded from what's often called the British experience. When daily life is focused on making ends meet, national pride can take a back seat. Some feel forgotten or left behind, not by choice, but by circumstance. Still, these challenges don't erase people's roots. Instead, they highlight how Britishness can feel different depending on where you live and what opportunities are available. In a fair and inclusive society, everyone should be able to feel part of the national story. Issues such as housing shortages, access to education, and healthcare can influence how citizens view their relationship with the state. If national identity is associated with opportunity and stability, those missing out may question whether that identity truly represents them. Global influence and the digital age. The internet has reshaped how we view ourselves and the world around us. From social media to streaming services, digital culture exposes people to global trends, movements, and ideas. This global exposure affects British identity too. For many, especially younger generations, being British is one part of who they are, but not the only part. They also see themselves as global citizens, connected by shared values and digital communities. Technology has also enabled the diaspora to stay closely connected to their countries of origin. This means that someone born in Britain can maintain strong ties to other cultures, making their sense of belonging more complex, but also more enriching. In this global context, national identity might feel less central, but no less important. Being British now often includes balancing local roots with a broader international outlook. National symbols and personal meaning. National symbols like the Union Jack, the monarchy, or the national anthem can evoke strong emotions. But those emotions aren't always the same for everyone. Some people feel deeply connected to these traditions, seeing them as part of their heritage and pride. Others may feel these symbols don't fully reflect modern Britain or the diversity of life within it. Rather than dismiss these differences, it's important to understand them. What it means to be British can vary from person to person, and national pride can be expressed in many different ways. From volunteering in your local community to celebrating shared values like tolerance and respect, there's more than one way to be part of the British story. Symbols can unite, but they can also alienate. Making national traditions more inclusive through updated ceremonies, education, and storytelling can help bridge these gaps without erasing history. Identity is personal and always evolving. At its heart, identity is about connection, where you belong, how you see yourself, and what you value. For some, Britishness is a lifelong part of who they are. For others, it's something they reflect on, redefine, or even question. And that's okay. In fact, the freedom to do that is a strength, not a weakness, of British identity. In a rapidly changing world, people should be able to explore their identity without judgment. Whether you feel strongly British, proudly regional, or a citizen of the world, your perspective matters in the evolving narrative of what it means to be British today. Ultimately, national identity is not about a checklist. It's about shared humanity. By recognising the full spectrum of what Britishness can mean, society becomes more compassionate, understanding, and open to growth. British identity is no longer a one-size-fits-all idea, and that's a good thing. For those who feel less connected to Britishness, it's not about disloyalty, it's about growth. In modern Britain, diversity, local pride, and personal journeys all shape what it means to belong. And that conversation is still unfolding. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.